the beginning of the holidays, I always get in the mood by making my pomanders. And it's really an easy process. I've done it for many years, even when my children were little. And you just get an orange, or you could also use a lemon or a lime. I find that the smaller oranges work better than the really big ones. They have less juice, and so that it's easier for them to dry out. So the process is I just get a safety pin and puncture the peeling, and then I get, here's some cloves. And I just learned that cloves are actually the hardened flowers of a tree, and the word means nails, and they sort of look like a nail. But it's very hard if you just try to push the clove straight into the orange. It's better to first make a little hole with the pin. And you continue on in this way. Sometimes I've made patterns. You can look on the internet and you'll see things like spirals or stars or circles around. But the problem with that is that the orange often goes bad. You want if you do it correctly, this will last for years. It won't go moldy. So what I do is I cover this all with the cloves. Pretty much, I mean, it's going to shrink, but you want to try to get as close as you can. And when this is all covered with the cloves, you make a drying mixture, which is very aromatic. You can crush some cloves into it. I use ginger, and I really don't measure this out. I just sort of, add to it. I have some whole nutmeg here and a little grater, which is very, very fresh nutmeg. It's so pungent. So I grate some of that in. And then cinnamon is the main ingredient and probably the least expensive of the spices. Now, I've never done this before. The recipe always calls for arrowroot, and this is I think it's going to be an essential part because it helps dry out all of the, keeps the orange dry so it won't rot. So when this is all covered, like this one, when it's all covered with the cloves, you just get the spices and sprinkle it on until it's all covered. Wow, this smells so delicious. And as the days go by, you'll want to turn this over a couple of times. Make sure that it's completely covered again with the spices. And eventually it will dry out. And it will look like this. Now this is a pomander I found actually in a shop. And this is, who knows how many years this is. And it still has its fragrance to it. Some people put these in jars to keep moths away. You can hang them up as ornaments on the tree or in a room or a closet to add the scents. So I looked up a little bit on the history of the pomander. The word means, it comes from pomme d'ambre, which means apple or round piece of amber. And amber was the substance that was found in or created in the intestines of a sperm whale. And when it would be excreted from the whale and found floating on the surface of the water of the ocean, it would be collected, and as it dried out, it had this incredible sweet smell. So originally, the pomander was with all sorts of different spices and herbs, including this amber that came from the whale. But it was sort of a status symbol to wear like a piece of jewelry, gold or silver, that was perforated and then had these spices in it. But supposedly Cardinal Wolsey, the counsel to Henry VIII, he popularized the poor man's pomander, which was the clove-studded orange, and he would wear that attached to a chain on his wrist or on his waist. But I have also heard that these were also created by witches, and the magical spell of the spices. There goes the clock. The magical spell of the spices would ward off evil and protect them. And I can just imagine these warm, spicy smells fending off any miasmas or ill spells or hexes. So I hope you'll try making one of these. It's very simple and a delight to add to the holidays.